Ames Mitchell never imagined the two people he trusted most, his wife Laura and his teenage nephew Tyler, would betray him in the most unthinkable way. What started as a kind gesture to help family turned into a twisted affair that shattered a home and ended in cold-blooded murder. As the horrifying truth unfolded, a picture-perfect life unraveled into a chilling true crime story that would leave an entire community stunned. In the quiet suburb of Fall Creek just outside Chicago, the Mitchell family appeared to be the picture of normalcy. James Mitchell, a 42-year-old construction contractor, was known as a hard-working man with a strong sense of family. His wife, Laura Mitchell, 38, stayed home to manage their household and care for their two children. On the surface, they were a typical American family, but behind the doors of their tidy three-bedroom home, something dark was festering. The story begins in early 2022 when James's nephew Tyler moved in with them. At 17, Tyler was struggling. His mother, James's sister, had recently passed away from a sudden illness, and his father had long since disappeared from the picture. James took the boy in without hesitation. He wanted to give Tyler stability, a second chance. But what he didn't realize was that by opening his home, he was unknowingly inviting in disaster. At first, everything seemed fine. Tyler was quiet, respectful, and spent most of his time in his room or helping Laura around the house. James appreciated that Laura had taken the boy under her wing, especially since she'd always wanted another child. But soon, James began noticing subtle changes. Tyler started dressing differently, paying more attention to his appearance. Laura, too, seemed livelier than usual. She spent more time with Tyler, often going on errands with him alone, or watching movies late into the night when James was asleep. James tried to dismiss his growing unease. He was working long hours and maybe he was just imagining things. But the tension grew. One night, while sorting laundry, he came across a note stuffed inside Tyler's jeans pocket. It was short but intimate, phrases that no aunt should write to her nephew. Chills ran down James's spine. He didn't confront them right away. Instead, he started watching. What he uncovered over the next few weeks destroyed his world. James installed a hidden camera in the living room, hoping to either confirm or disprove his suspicions. What he captured left no room for doubt. Footage revealed Laura and Tyler embracing when they thought no one was around. There were stolen kisses, lingering touches, and glances that spoke volumes. It was more than an affair. It was betrayal of the worst kind, and it had been happening under his own roof. James didn't react immediately. Instead, he quietly gathered evidence, text messages, voicemails, photographs. He wanted to be sure. When he finally confronted Laura, she denied everything at first, but the evidence was overwhelming. She broke down and admitted that the affair had started months ago. It had just happened, she said. She didn't mean for it to go that far. But her excuses meant nothing. James was devastated, humiliated, and furious. Laura moved out for a few days, taking the kids with her. Tyler was sent to stay with a friend from school. But things didn't end there. One evening, neighbors called the police after hearing shouting and a loud crash coming from the Mitchell home. When officers arrived, they found James in the kitchen, covered in blood. Tyler's body was discovered in the backyard, partially hidden beneath a tarp. He had been stabbed multiple times. James was arrested on the spot. During the trial, a disturbing picture began to emerge. James claimed he hadn't planned the murder. He said that Tyler came back to the house one afternoon uninvited. James asked him to leave, but the argument quickly escalated. According to James, Tyler taunted him, suggesting that Laura had chosen him over her own husband. Rage overtook James, and in a fit of blind fury, he grabbed a kitchen knife. The prosecution painted a different story. They argued that James had planned the attack. The evidence, the hidden camera, the printed texts, the timeline, showed that James had been spiraling for weeks. He was obsessed with the betrayal and had lost control. They claimed it wasn't a crime of passion, it was premeditated revenge. The jury was split. Some felt sympathy for James. Others believed that no betrayal, no matter how painful, justified taking a life. In the end, James was found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 20 years in prison. But the story didn't end with the trial. Months later, a shocking new detail came to light. Investigators discovered that Laura had been in contact with another man during the affair with Tyler, a co-worker she had briefly dated before marrying James. Digital records showed a long history of flirtatious messages and even hotel reservations made in secret. Some began to wonder, was the affair with Tyler really about passion, or was it part of a deeper manipulation? Laura was never charged with any crime, but public opinion turned against her quickly. She was shunned by neighbors, lost custody of her children, and eventually moved out of state to start over. Her whereabouts are currently unknown. Tyler's death shook the community. He was buried quietly by distant relatives, and his grave remains largely unattended. Some saw him as a victim. Others saw him as a troubled teenager who crossed a line he never should have. James remains in prison, serving his sentence quietly. In letters to his brother, he's expressed deep remorse, not just for killing Tyler, but for not seeing the signs sooner. He says he's haunted by the moments he ignored, the red flags he dismissed, and the family he ultimately lost. The Mitchell home was put up for sale shortly after the trial. The new owners reported strange occurrences, cold spots, unexplained noises, but eventually remodeled the entire property to erase the past. To this day, the town of Fall Creek rarely speaks of the Mitchells. What was once a respected family name is now a whisper, a cautionary tale about how love, betrayal, and rage can twist together into something deadly. A story where no one truly wins and everyone is left scarred. And all of it began with a single hidden secret, one that unraveled a family and ended in murder.